The first thing Marcus Reed noticed was the smell. Not the recycled air, not the faint hint of coffee drifting from the galley, but the food, warm bread, melted butter, something rich and savory. First class was being served. Marcus sat upright in seat 1A, jacket folded neatly beside him, phone resting face down on the armrest. He looked calm, composed, every inch the successful man he was. But his eyes followed the tray as it moved down the aisle, stopping at each seat before his. A flight attendant placed a plate gently in front of the man across from him. Another tray followed. Then another. Marcus waited. The tray skipped him. The flight attendant, a young white woman with her hair pulled tightly into a bun, moved past his seat without slowing. Marcus blinked once. He glanced around, just to confirm what he already knew. Everyone else in first class had a meal. He did not. He waited a few seconds, then a few more. Finally, he pressed the call button. A soft chime. The same flight attendant returned, her smile automatic but distracted. "Yes?" she asked. Marcus gestured lightly toward the empty tray table. "I think I was missed." She looked at him, then at the tablet in her hand. "No, sir," she said. "You weren't." Marcus tilted his head slightly. "I'm in first class." She nodded. "I know." A pause settled between them. "Then I should receive the same service as everyone else," Marcus replied evenly. The attendant's smile tightened. "This meal selection may not be suitable." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Not suitable for whom?" She hesitated. "Just a fraction of a second too long." "For your profile," she said. Marcus felt something cold slide down his spine. "My profile," he repeated. "Yes," she said quickly. "We try to match preferences." Marcus glanced at the plates around him. "Bake, steak, salmon, pasta. And what preference did you assign me?" he asked. She shifted her weight, the standard option. "You didn't ask me," Marcus said, her tone sharpened. "Sir, please lower your voice." Marcus hadn't raised it. "I'm simply asking why I am the only passenger in first class without a meal," he said. The attendant crossed her arms slightly. "This is what suits your kind of ticket." That was when it happened. 5 words, soft, casual. "This suits your kind." The cabin felt suddenly smaller. The man across from Marcus froze mid-bite. A woman too rose back slowly, lifted her phone. Marcus didn't react immediately. He'd learned long ago that silence made people nervous. "What kind is that?" he asked calmly. The attendant stiffened. "Sir, I don't have time for this." Marcus nodded. "Neither do I." She turned to walk away. Marcus stopped her with one sentence. "I'd like your name." She turned back, irritated. "Why? So I know who denied me service?" he said. Her eyes narrowed. "You're being difficult." "No," Marcus replied. "I'm being documented." The attendant scoffed and walked off. Marcus leaned back in his seat. Around him, murmurs rippled through the cabin. Some whispered, "Did you hear that?" Another passenger shook their heads slowly. Marcus picked up his phone. He didn't unlock it yet. He simply held it. Minutes passed. The attendant didn't return. Another flight attendant approached with drinks. She paused at Marcus's seat. "Would you like something to drink, sir?" "Yes," Marcus said. "And I'd also like to order the meal everyone else received." Her smile faltered. "I'll need to check." Marcus nodded. "Please do." She walked away. Still no food. The plane cruised steadily at altitude. Outside, clouds stretched endlessly, indifferent to what was unfolding inside. Marcus glanced at his watch. Then he unlocked his phone. He scrolled through contacts, past assistants, lawyers, board members. He stopped on one name, Evelyn Shaw. He tapped a call. It rang once. "Marcus," Evelyn said. "I was just about to board." "What's wrong?" "I need you to stay put," Marcus replied calmly. There was a pause. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," he said. "The airline isn't Across the aisle, the first attendant returned, now joined by a senior crew member. "Sir," the senior attendant said, "we understand there's been a misunderstanding." Boftus looked up. "I've been denied a first-class meal." The senior attendant smiled tightly. "Due to limited availability, everyone else was served," Marcus said. The first attendant shifted. "You didn't like I wasn't asked," Marcus replied. The senior attendant cleared his throat. "We'll see what we can do." Marcus didn't move. He didn't speak. He simply watched. The first attendant leaned closer to the senior one, whispering something Marcus couldn't hear. The senior attendant straightened. Sir, he said, we need to ask you to remain cooperative. Marcus smiled faintly. I've been cooperative since boarding, he said. Your crew hasn't, the first attendant snapped. You don't need to cause a scene. Marcus looked directly at her. You denied me service, he said. You labeled me, and now you're irritated because I didn't accept it quietly. Her face flushed. That's not what happened, she said sharply. Marcus lifted his phone slightly. Then you won't mind if I clarify, he said. He pressed speaker. Evelyn, he said. You're on. The voice on the other end sharpened instantly. Marcus, where are you? Flight 782, he replied. Operated by your airline's regional partner. Silence. The senior attendant's eyes widened. The first attendant's face drained of color. Evelyn spoke slowly now. Are you experiencing discrimination? Yes, Marcus said. Publicly, repeatedly, the senior attendant stammered. Sir, perhaps we should discuss this privately. No, Evelyn said through the phone. You shouldn't. The cabin had gone quiet. Passengers leaned in. Phones were fully raised now. Marcus, Evelyn continued, is the attendant who made the remark still present? Marcus glanced at her. Yes. Evelyn exhaled. Put her on. The attendant shook her head. I don't have to. You do, Marcus said. She hesitated, then leaned toward the phone. Yes, she said stiffly. This is Evelyn Shaw, the voice said, CEO of the airline you're currently representing. The words hit like turbulence. The senior attendant swallowed hard. I'm reviewing live footage as we speak, Evelyn continued, and passenger statements. The attendant's mouth opened, closed. I want you to explain, Evelyn said, why a first-class passenger was told this suits your kind. Silence. The plane seemed to hold its breath. I didn't mean, the attendant began. Evelyn's voice hardened. You did. Marcus didn't speak. He didn't need to. Captain, Evelyn said, this call will be documented. Yes, ma'am, the captain's voice replied over the intercom. Evelyn continued. Upon landing, the entire crew involved in this interaction will be removed from duty pending termination. Gasps echoed. The attendant's knees buckled slightly. No, she whispered. Evelyn's tone was final. Yes, she hung up. Marcus lowered his phone. The senior attendant stared at him. Sir, we sincerely apologize. Marcus nodded once. Too late. A different flight attendant approached quietly, placing a tray in front of him. Steak, fresh bread, dessert. Marcus looked at it, then pushed it away. I'm no longer hungry, he said. Applause broke out. Not thunderous, but real. The rest of the flight passed in stunned silence. When the plane landed, uniformed airline officials boarded before anyone stood up. They approached Marcus first. Mr. Reed, one said. We deeply regret, Marcus stood. I hope you learn from this, he said, calmly, because the next passenger might not have my number. He walked past them, past the crew, past the attendant who couldn't meet his eyes. In the terminal, Marcus finally exhaled. His phone buzzed with messages, alerts, headlines forming in real time. He ignored them. For once, the silence felt earned, and for once, it didn't suit anyone's kind but theirs. Marcus didn't slow his pace as he walked down the jet bridge. He could feel eyes on his back, the weight of unfinished conversations, apologies that would never be said out loud. The air inside the terminal felt different from the cabin weeder, colder, less controlled. His shoes echoed against the polished floor, each step steady, measured, as if the ground itself needed reassurance that he wasn't shaken. He wasn't, not, on the outside. His phone vibrated again. He ignored it, then again, and again. He stopped near a large window overlooking the runway. Planes lined up like obedient machines, waiting for clearance, waiting for permission. Marcus watched one lift into the sky, smooth and effortless, as if nothing complicated ever happened inside those metal shells. Behind him, voices approached. Mr. Reed. He didn't turn immediately. Marcus, the voice, corrected itself, softer now. He faced them. Two airline executives, suits sharper than the ones worn by the crew, smiles practiced in boardrooms, not cabins. We'd appreciate a moment of your time, one said. Marcus checked his watch. You have 60 seconds, They exchanged a glance. "We want to personally apologize for what occurred on board," the taller one said. "This does not reflect our company's values." Marcus exhaled slowly. "That phrase travels well," he said. "I've heard it in 3 different airports." The shorter executive cleared his throat. "The crew has been suspended pending review." "You said that already," Marcus replied. "What happens after the review?" Another pause. "That depends on the findings," the man said carefully. Marcus nodded. "That's what I thought." A family passed by, the kids tugging suitcases too large for their hands. Life moved around the moment, indifferent to it. Marcus watched them go. "Let me be clear," he said. "This wasn't about a meal." The executives listened now, really listened. "It was about how easy it was for your employee to decide I didn't deserve what everyone else did," Marcus continued. "No argument, no evidence, just instinct." "We understand," one began. "No," Marcus said calmly. "You don't. Not unless you've sat in a seat you paid for and had someone tell you it suited your kind." The words landed heavier outside the plane than they had inside it. The executives didn't respond. "My assistant will follow up," Marcus said, "and my legal team." Their faces tightened. "Good day," he added, already turning away. As he walked toward baggage claim, the adrenaline finally began to fade. His shoulders loosened. His breath deepened. That familiar post-conflict exhaustion crept in, the kind that didn't feel like weakness, just the cost of staying upright under pressure. At the carousel, a man approached hesitantly. "Mr. Reed." Marcus turned. "I was sitting 2 rows behind you," the man said. "I work in aviation. 20 years. Marcus waited. "That shouldn't have happened," the man continued. "And it happens more than people admit." Marcus nodded once. "Then maybe it's time more people admit it." The man smiled faintly. "I recorded the whole thing, in case you need it." Marcus held his gaze for a moment. "Thank you." That night, in his hotel room, Marcus finally allowed himself to sit in silence. He loosened his tie, rolled his shoulders, stared at the city lights beyond the window. Somewhere below, people laughed, argued, lived their ordinary lives, unaware of how close unfairness always hovered. His phone lay on the desk, screen lighting up every few seconds. News alerts, messages, missed calls. He picked it up. The headline stared back at him. "Black CEO denied first-class meal, phone call grounds entire crew." Marcus sighed. That wasn't the story, but it was the one people would click. He scrolled. Comments poured in by the thousands, some supportive, some furious, some dismissive. He overreacted. They should have just served him. Why make everything about race? Good consequences matter. Marcus put the phone down. He thought about the attendant's face when she realized who was on the other end of that call. Not fear of losing her job, but fear of being exposed, of being seen clearly, without excuses. He wondered how many times she'd said similar things when there wasn't a camera, when there wasn't a CEO, when the passenger didn't have leverage. Sleep came late. The next morning, Marcus walked into a conference room 3 states away, greeted by a dozen executives who pretended nothing unusual had happened. Business continued. Deals moved forward. Money didn't pause for moral reflection. During a break, his assistant leaned in. The airline released a statement. She whispered, "They're terminating the entire crew involved." Marcus closed his eyes briefly. "And?" he asked. "They're rolling out mandatory bias training," she added. "Company-wide." Marcus nodded. "Training doesn't change instincts," he said, "but it changes records." Later that week, Marcus received an email from a woman he didn't know. "My son was on that flight," it read. "He's 11. He asked me why you weren't allowed to eat when everyone else was. Thank you for showing him that silence isn't required." Marcus stared at the screen longer than he meant to. He replied with one sentence, "I hope he never has to learn that lesson the hard way." The following month, Marcus boarded another flight, different airline, the same cabin, first class. As he settled into his seat, a flight attendant approached with a warm smile. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Reed," she said. "Can I get you something to drink?" Marcus looked at her name badge, then at her eyes. "Yes," he said. "Water is fine." She handed it to him without hesitation, without suspicion, without judgment. As she walked away, Marcus stared out the window at the tarmac below. He knew this wouldn't be the last story like his. Not by a long shot. But maybe, just maybe, it would make the next one harder to dismiss. And that, he thought, was worth every uncomfortable second at 35,000 feet.